Awesome. Okay, so when we dealt with the rate of change, this is what we started with yesterday. Rate of change was kind of letting us know if we're going to increase it, if it's going to be decreased, if it's going to be a straight line. When we are just kind of looking at it without having to use those points on a coordinate plane, okay, we usually refer to it just as a rate of change because we have a table and then we have kind of two numbers where we can compare the two of them. Another name for rate of change, or how we can explain what this line is doing, if it's going up, going down, or if it's staying the same, is called the slope. The slope of a line is going to be how much it increases or how much it decreases through different points. So I'm going to kind of show you, or I'll show you the picture. The formula, I'm going to make sure everyone writes this one down because you will see it for the next long time. Okay, the slope of a line that passes through two different points, and the way we refer to them is that I will have x1 and x2, so that's like our first point, and then we'll have our second point, which we call like x2 and y2. Okay, that's what that little 2 means. It means it's from the first point, and the other one means it's from the second point. When it goes between these 2 points, we're able to show that difference. And when we can write the difference in from those coordinates, we can figure out what the slope is, or how much that rate of change actually is. The formula that you will see that you will need to use today, a lot next week, there's probably a good chance you'll see it on your ISASP tests as well, is going to be this one here. My slope. When we say slope, M is actually a fancy math letter for slope. There's a couple letters that always have a specific name. If you ever see M's pretty much always referring to slope. Anyway, so my formula for slope is going to be y2 minus y1, thank you, sir, over x2 minus x1. Okay, it's this formula that's right here. I'm writing on the board because we're going to see it a lot. So that's what the slope is. It says one other thing behind the symbols, and it says where x2 cannot equal x1. If both of my x values were the exact same number, what would happen right here? Again, you're right. It'd be a 0. What happens when you try to divide by 0? The world explodes. Okay, it's not going to happen. It's not possible. It's one of those fantastic rules of math, and it's just because we can never divide by 0, so that's why these two can't be the same. If you ever see there's a 0 on the bottom and you try to put it into your calculator, it will say syntax error, or just a giant E, or it'll start smoking and blow up. You can't, that won't happen. But you just can't divide by 0, okay? So that is kind of the way this formula for slope is going to be. Slope is kind of a mathematical way of saying the rate of change.
Also, it doesn't matter which dots you assign x2 and y2 as long as x2 and y2 are together and x1 and y1 are together.
Perfect, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. And I will make sure I show that in the first example now that you mentioned it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with these points. Okay, I've got the slope of the line. My first point is going to be at -2, 2. My second point is going to be at -5, 3. I'm going to rewrite those that ordered pair just so I can kind of be consistent this way. So I've got my first one. I'm going to say my x1 and my y1. So my first ordered pair is going to be -2, 2. My next ordered pair, so my x2 and my y2. My second order pair is going to be -5 and then -3. Okay, so again, These are the ordered pairs I'm working with. If you want to look at them over here, I'm just going to show you just really consistent this way. And because I've got highlighters and I love highlighters, we're going to use all 4 of them. So I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, and then that, and then that. When I set up that formula, just the exact same way I had it, I have y2 minus y1 over my x2 minus x1. The thing that Mr. Rohr was saying is make sure that the ones from the 2, the second one, are together. Make sure that the ones are in the same spot as well. Okay, sticking with those same colors. I know that my yellow one's going to go down here. My blue one is going to go right here. My green one is going to go here. And purple one's going to go there. Again, I'm just staying consistent with where every single number is going to go. So as I start to solve this, my y2 value is -3 minus my y1 value is a 2 over my x2 value is -5 minus my x1 value was -2. I really want to make sure you saw this. Every time I'm subtracting it, right? Put the subtraction first and then write the number. So I've got minus and -2. You guys see that right away? Okay, so if I minus a -2, what is that? Plus a positive, right? Okay, so again, I wrote my whole entire equation out. Now that I see that they have 2 negatives in a row, I'm just going to put those plus a positive. I get -3 minus 2. On the top, I will have a -5. On the bottom, I've got -5 plus 2. So -5 plus 2 is going to be a -3. I'm getting close. Now here's where I got to make sure I double check this. I've got a negative on the top and I've got a negative on the bottom. Can I have 2 negatives in the exact same fraction? I cannot. So those ones will cancel out. And my slope is going to be 5 over 3. Okay, Mr. Rohr mentioned it, and I'm going to do it because that's what he said. He said, what happens if I switched up? Like if these ones were going to be my, I'll do this, get rid of that, get rid of that. What happens if this was going to be my x2 and my y2, and this was my x1 and my y1? It'll still work the same way, but I'm going to show you because it's fun. My y2 minus y1, I get 2 minus, because again, my y2 was here. So 2 minus my y1, so minus -3. Minus -3 over my x2 was going to be -2 minus my x1, which was -5. Awesome, I've got minus negatives. This turns into a plus a positive for both of those. 2 plus 3 is 5. -2 plus 5 is a positive 3. Is it the same thing? It is. If I wanted to go through and do my rates of change like we did before, because I'm going to have so much fun making charts. So my rate of change that we did before, get out of there, you. Again, my x value is here. My y value is here. 0.1 was at -2 over 2. My next one was at -5 over -3. I know between these two, it is getting 3 smaller. I know between these two, it's getting 5 smaller. And just like what we did on the one before, on the one from the assignment from yesterday, again, the bottom one goes on top, so negative 5 over negative 3, which simplifies down to 5 over 3. This one, and this one, and this one are all the same. So if we do the rate of change style that we did from yesterday, we get the same slope. If we use this formula, this y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and it didn't matter which one we put first or second, we're still going to get the exact same slope. That is the, I'm going to say magic of math, the magic of algebra. There's only one way, or kind of one solution that you'll be able to get. There's a lot of different ways that you can put it together, but you should only have one solution when you're done. Just like when you build a puzzle. Who here likes puzzles? Some of you guys? How do you start your puzzle?
Corner pieces.
Corner pieces? You just start with the picture. You figure out like which picture you can kind of figure out and start going with it. Okay? I'm glad that 2 people chose 2 different ways too. So you start with the corners, you just start with the pictures. When you're done, do you have the same picture that she would probably have? The only way that you would have something different is if you got scissors out and you cut your own pieces. And that's not going to work out. Okay? Did that make sense on using this slope formula? Okay, we'll do another one where you guys get to talk me through it. Okay, just for the sake of it, I'm going to write these down over here. I'm going to say this one is my x1 and my x2. Or sorry, x1 and my y1. And then this one over here is going to be my x2 and my y2. Just so I'm consistent, what's my formula, somebody? If you need help, it's written on the board still. Austin?
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Awesome. Okay, what numbers will I put into this equation then? What's my y2 value? Negative 4? Yep. What's my y1 value? So negative 4 minus 0 over, what's my x2 value? Positive 2 minus, what is my x1 value? 0. Perfect. I have all my numbers in. Now I just get to put stuff together using the algebra. Negative 4 minus 0 is negative 4. 2 minus 0 is 2. Okay, I don't have to worry about negative signs on the top and the bottom, so that part's done. But I do need to simplify this. I need it into the, the smallest fraction I can get. What's negative 4 over 2 as the simplest fraction? Austin?
Negative or 2 over 1.
Yeah, negative 2 over 1. Negative 2 over 1. He was able to divide both of those by 2. And I got negative 2 over 1. If I were to say these were my 1 coordinates and these are my 2 coordinates, what would the slope be?
What?
If I switch these ones, if I said this is my x1 and my y1 and this is my x2 and my y2, what would the new slope be?
0 minus.
Like what? Like just the final slope? It wouldn't change. It'd be the same thing. No, yeah, Austin, I know you're doing the. You're actually going to show me the steps. Yep. But no, it's the exact same. It didn't matter which one you put first. It will be the exact same slope no matter what. Scale thumbs up to thumbs down. How you feeling? Kind of okay. All right, then I want to see what you guys can do on this next one. Again, I'm not giving you a coordinate plane, Cartesian plane, if you will. I'm not giving you that. I'm just going to give you the points. I'll write these ones down just that way it's consistent. So this will be my x1, this will be my y1, this will be my x2, and my y2. Go ahead and solve this one, guys. Show me what you can do. So the 3 and the 2 should be on top. And we'll go with the y. But like all your factors. Yeah, so it's 2 times 6.
Oh, I don't know why I got a 5.
I think there's that.
Really?
Yes, sir. Right, so this would be, make sure you put that minus a negative. Because it would have been minus a negative 4. There we go. Yep. Nope, you're good. You have it, as long as you have a negative here, you're good. So as long as you have one negative sign here. Which one is the y to that? That's also one. Perfect, let's write that right up. Straight up. Yeah, see what's right. It says y2 minus, so I'll put a minus sign. What is my y1 value? Yep, okay. Over, so put a line to give you over. What is my x2 value? Perfect, minus. So there you go. And what's the x1 value? Yep. Perfect. Yeah. 2 negatives in a row. What is that? Plus box. Yep. All right, so 2 minus 3. Negative 2. Positive or negative? Yeah. If I have 2 fingers, you can put down 3 of them. Yeah. Yep. That's your answer. Nice work, you. All right. Big thing, remember, y goes on top. So y2 minus y1 over x goes on the bottom. I'm about to sneeze, maybe. Thanks. Sorry. x2 minus x1. You should have had 2 minus 3 over 1 minus a negative 4. So minus negative turns into plus a positive. 2 take away 3 is negative 1. Over 1 plus 4 is 5. Your final slope should have been negative 1 over 5. If you would have done the numbers in the other order, it would have been 1 over negative 5. Okay?
Can you show them why it's important to, a couple people had the negatives in a different spot? Like negative, why it's important to keep the negatives all the way over, like it's just not a negative 1/5
Oh, gotcha.
because of where the dots go up on that. I don't know, that maybe will confuse them. Just to tell them, make sure they carry the negatives over on the number that it is.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so on this top one, this was going to be the negative number. So we keep it up here because I'm going to do the other one just to show the other side. If I switch sides, pretend like it was there. If I would have done 3 minus 2 over negative 4 minus 1. 3 minus 2, if I do this one, 3 take away 2 is a positive 1. 4 minus 1 or 4 plus a negative 1, that one gets to be negative 5. If I had, again, I still have a negative sign here, I still have a negative sign there. The reason we want to keep it together is so that way if we do have 2 negative signs, we can cancel those out if we need to. Okay? Again, this formula here, the next one that I want you to do on your own, and I'm not going to write down any x1 or any x2, I want you to do this one all on your own. You figure out which one's going to be your x2, which one's going to be your y2. Or, yeah, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. You guys do this one.
Do the Y's always have to go on top or no?
Yes, Y's always go on top. Why? Because I said so.
Oh, shoot.
Make sure your Y's are on top. Your Y values are your second numbers. So those ones should be on top. Yes. Almost. What's 1 minus 8? Positive or negative 7?
Alright.
This would be negative. So now I have 2 negatives.
With the H to be 8%.
Yes. Yep. Okay, for yours. So this would be minus 3, right?
Yeah.
So that this top one is negative 8, which is great. 8 or 1 minus 7 would be a negative 7, right? Because if I have one finger, you can put down 8 of them. So this needs to be a negative 7. Yep. And now if I have both the negatives, then they cancel out. Yep. There you go.
Who's your favorite person? The two negatives are
Yeah, I don't think I can.
It's a 2 minus 7. The Y's are on top. Yeah, so 3 minus 8. But I don't know, that's on top, that's the Y's are on top. Okay. Yeah, the Y's are on top. So the Y's are on top.
I mean, for you guys, the bottom ones are good. You just chose the wrong number on the top. You guys are doing it.
So what?
No.
You 3 minus X is on top. So you have to for that, that's your top. Yeah, your top. Top is one.
X's are the first number. Yeah. And then the first number. Y is the second number.
Okay. So you guys worked that one through, depending on which way you went. I'm not going to go over both ways right now because I think you guys got this figured out. But I will do 3 minus a negative 5 over 8 minus 1. This turned into plus a positive. So I get 8 over 7. Some of you guys did it the other way around, which was fine. You would have got negative 8 over negative 7 because there's a negative on the top and the bottom. Those both cancel out and you'd be left with 8 over 7. 7. Okay. I will explain one other thing not tomorrow, Monday. But when you guys do the slope, Sometimes if you ever get some help from home, I can almost guarantee a parent will say this to you. So I want to let you know what the phrase is so the way it doesn't get confusing. Because we're doing the y value, that's the one that goes up and down on the graph. A lot of times when people were taught, depending on what year they were taught and kind of the school they were in, the y value is how much it rises, how much it goes up or down. So how much it rises or lowers. So they usually say it's the rise value over the x value is the one that goes side to side, and that's going to be the run value. So if you are working with somebody and they're trying to help you and they say, well, it's the rise over the run, that's what they mean. The rise is how much it goes up and down. The run is how much it goes left to right. Okay? I wanted to make sure that I explained that to you because we are going to graph with slopes a little bit later, which that'll make a little more sense. But if you're trying to get some help on figuring out why the y goes on top and the x goes on the bottom, that's kind of the handy memory thing that people have. I'm not going to do this one for you. I'm not going to do that one for you. Actually, tell you what, I'm going to do this one really quick. I'm going to do it myself because I'm going to show you real quick. If I have this one, I'm skipping down this example. I've got 2 and a 4 and then 2 and negative 1. If I do this one, I have negative 1 minus 4 over 2 minus 2. Top, I get negative 5. The bottom is 0. I mentioned it before. Can I do that? No, because the world explodes. Okay? If you ever have one that says negative 5 over 0, you can say, for right now, you can say undefined. Or I'm even going to allow you to say no slope. Okay? If you ever have 0 on the bottom, I'm good with you saying undefined, no solution, no slope. All of those work. Okay? Because it's not going to go up or down. It's going to be a perfectly straight line. All right, what you guys have tonight and into Monday, page 400, 14 through 22, even. It is only slope. That's all you get to work on for tonight. Let me pause this thing.